I've had a lot of people over the past few months ask me, Adam, when are you going to re-review the ID14? When are you going to give us an update on, because they've updated the drivers and changed a few other things. Well, here it is, everybody. Here it is. I still own the ID14. It's my prized little baby. It's a great little interface. It was affordable. It's only let me down one time, which I'll get to later in the review. But here it is, everybody. But yeah, the biggest changes are I guess it's called ThisCon or ThisCon. That's the drivers that Audient uses. They have been updated, and you can now seamlessly, I think I said that wrong the first time, flip back and forth between like your web browsing or playing music in like VLC player to using ASIO inside of your DAW. And you couldn't do that before. As long as your sample rate in Windows matches your ASIO sample rate. So if you have 96 kilohertz going on inside of Reaper or Pro Tools or whatever, maybe not Pro Tools, but I know in Reaper, you can have it set to 96 kilohertz. And if you have it set to 96 kilohertz in the Windows playback settings, then you're good to go. You can actually play back, a YouTube video or whatever at the same time as your mix. So you couldn't do that before, now you can. The other thing is the latency has been improved slightly. And in the previous review, I did not run any Rightmark audio analyzer test. I just completely forgot about it. And in fact, I probably didn't want to do it because technically the line inputs on the ID14 go through the microphone preamp. So it's kind of not exactly a line input, but it still worked. And the ID14 actually did really, really well, especially in the noise figures. The other thing I didn't test, but I should have, is what it sounds like to clip the converter. So I'm going to test it out by clipping a voice, because I know when you record a singer, a lot of times they go higher than what you set it to. And I will also test out my bass guitar clipping the JFET, because I heard that sounds cool. Check, check. 1, 2, 3. That looks awful. And I think I'm just going to do it that loud because I normally wouldn't record this loud ever. So yeah, and neither should you. So I'm going to do the reverse on this one. I'm going to start off clipping and then gradually bring it down. So right now is very, very loud. Very, very loud. Which actually you could use as a creative effect. I've seen it done actually with pop music. I've seen it done with heavy metal singers. So yeah, digital clipping and converter clipping can definitely be used if you intend to do it this way. One of the things I complain about with the ID14 is that you couldn't really use a lot of CPU before it crapped out on you, and they fixed that. Again, I believe that was a driver issue, and now I think I basically just ran the same plugins that I did with the Joco Cello, and the project worked completely fine. I didn't try recording with it, but it was stable. It wasn't stable before. You could only get up to like 50% CPU before. Now you can get to like at least 80% and it'll still play back. It won't play back perfectly, without a initial delay and then glitches, and it won't stop perfectly, but that's exactly what the Joco Cello did too. But it still plays back, and you can still change settings on plugins, and that's all you really need. All right, so this is the classic interface, and they really didn't change anything because, you know, why? Why would they change something? By the way, somebody was saying, why do you lose like negative 20 decibels? They actually tell you that on Audient's website, but I've been doing that anyway because I know that, yeah, gain staging is a thing for digital to analog converters. Yeah, you're not supposed to run this like at +6 or even 0 if you're clipping on this, on your master out. So I usually keep it at negative 20, and I have my Windows audio sound going at 100, and it sounds great. Anyway, look, to get to the new interface, by the way, if you want, you can close these out so that you're only seeing the important stuff. Cool, right? So if you go to, oh, sorry, I went too fast. So it's under the view menu, user interface style, and then click modern. And yeah, my first question is, where the heck did my headphone volume control go? Because it's not this. If you click this, nah, this knob is for the main output, and it's not the Q either. You know, I thought maybe it was that. Nope, and it's not under, to my knowledge, it's not under here. But here's the cool thing. Why would I want to use this? Because I really don't like this interface. Why would I use this? Two big things. First of all, under your Q, you get to choose a louder output by 6 decibels for the headphone output. Cool. Then we also have a talkback switch, and I don't have anything plugged in right now, but you could go to external and then Windows Audio, and if you had a USB microphone, you could actually use it right here. And so you have a talkback microphone plus your 2 microphone inputs plus your 8 digital inputs. Really cool, right? All right, so here's how you use the talkback function. Under ID mode, you click this and you have a few different options. Scroll controls where I normally have it. You can also do a mono summing. You can do mono summing with a polarity switch, or you can just have your monitors dim or talkback. I like doing talkback. So what I like to do first of all is playback music and then set your dim control right here, which is nice, a little nice feature to have. And with the encoder, the big knob, you press that in and hold it, and it's temporary talkback. Or you can click it once, it latches, and then click it again, and it unlatches. Or if you don't have your interface near you, you just click this. Talkback will then dim the monitors, and then you just click talkback again or TB again, and then it's off. And that's about it for the updates. Like I said, I'm not really a big fan of it, and it looks like they are missing the headphones volume knob. I don't know where it is. I might be wrong about that, but here it is on the old interface. You know, it's right here. It's nowhere to be found, to my knowledge, on the other style. So I will actually send that into them and ask, hey, where'd the volume go? Oh, by the way, I forgot to talk about this last time. So no matter what style you're in, I'll just go to the old style. But actually the new style allows you to type in a longer input name. So I could just do this, and that's my input. So I could say, you know, Atom vocals, or just vocals. And then we'll do this one. We'll do bass. But I think that's cool. You could also name the outputs. So you could say mix room or control room. And then if I can have these called Q1, Q2, or whatever the case may be. So I think that's a cool little feature. I wish every control panel would have that. Oh, you can even name the master mix. And QA. QA can be named. Okay, we'll call it Q Atom. I don't know. And we'll call this RHR mix. So anyway, there you go. Cool little options. Like I said, I'm not really a huge fan of the new software, so I'm glad they give you a choice. That is cool. And that's about it. When I first bought the ID14, it didn't come included with any software besides the drivers. And since my review of it last year, they have changed their ARC Creative Club. You can now get Wall of Sound from 2 Notes, a 1 gigabyte sample pack, plus 500 Loop Cloud credits, whatever those are. Some Waldorf plugins. That's pretty nice. And then we also have Lander credits. The big one is Cubase LE or Cubasis LE2. And then, if you haven't learned enough from Real Home Recording tutorials, Producer Tech gives you 2 free courses plus $20 worth of credit towards another one. So, very cool. They did take away, I think, 2 things from this list, but, you know, they made up for it. So, this is actually really cool. And I've been meaning to download this and maybe even this. Maybe Loop Masters. I'll try it all. Heck. Maybe I'll review Cubase LE. I don't know. But look, it's really good to include software, especially with a very affordable audio interface. Okay, so earlier I said that all is not well with the ID14. Unfortunately, in the summer of 2018, the ID14 decided to stop working out of nowhere. I turned my computer on and it wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't even show me the control panel because it just wasn't communicating with the computer. So even though the ID14 was out of warranty, Audient thankfully paid for the repairs, and I believe they even paid for shipping both ways. I know they paid for it at least one way, but look, I don't know if they'll do that for everybody, and I don't know how much of a problem this is. It concerns me because I treat the interface like a baby, and that's something that is out of my control. So I don't know if there's a way to prevent that. I don't know if you plug it into the wall, it's less susceptible to any issues. I know that somebody was complaining about the USB power surging their interface, or it's possible that there was a thunderstorm overnight and that did it. So my recommendation, see, I don't even know if I want to recommend this because I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I'm kind of thinking that if you either use wall power or at least unplug the interface before you shut your computer off, and especially shut everything off if there's a lightning storm happening. But I don't know. I don't know what happened to it. I really don't. But you got to remember, for 2.5 years, I used that thing every single day, basically, for 8 to 12 hours a day. Sometimes, especially on the weekends, 12 hours. Never had issues with it. So it's just, I don't know, dumb luck it could be, but if that was the issue, if it was the power taking out the digital controller or whatever they call it, then I guess I should have asked Audient before I started this video. So I will ask them if there was any way for me to not have that happen, but I would be lying if I didn't tell you guys that that happened, and I thank Audient for covering that. I was very grateful, although it did take about 6 weeks or 2 months? I think it was at least 6 weeks to get it back. Luckily, I didn't sell my previous interface, and so I had a backup, and I highly recommend everybody out there, if you need to do audio mixing or audio recording professionally or what have you, have 2 audio interfaces. You know, and if I didn't have this, I might have just bought the ID4 or something. But seriously, that's not going to turn me off from buying another Audient interface. The Audient, it's been good to me. And actually, when I have unplugged it and used my built-in sound card, you notice it immediately. So anyway, that's really the only big issue I've had. And like I said earlier, I'm glad that Audient didn't get rid of the classic GUI because I love the control panel. I love the way it looks. And the new one, I'm not a big fan of. So I'm glad that they kept it as an option. I do wish that they would have added the features that's in the new software to the old, but look, I'd rather have it the way it is right now. I'm glad they kept it in. They could have just said, screw it, we're going to the new look, but they didn't. They listened to people's feedback, and I am grateful for that.
Thanks for watching this RealHomeRecording.com video. You can get monthly audio engineering news and exclusive videos by signing up for our newsletter. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up or thumbs down and consider subscribing. Have some questions? Feel free to ask them in the comment section below. If Adam has helped you produce better quality audio, then please consider becoming a monthly patron or donate via PayPal. Bye!